The Vanderbilt rape case is shining a bright light on the very dark problem of sexual violence on campuses across the country. To combat this disturbing crime, more than 70 Tennessee colleges, including Vanderbilt, the University of Tennessee, and Middle Tennessee State University, are right now holding a summit in Nashville to try to figure out ways of preventing these horrors from actually happening. Joining me now is the president of the University of Tennessee, Joseph DiPietro, and I'm also bringing back in our CNN legal analysts, Paul Callan and Mel Robbins. Mr. DiPietro, thank you so much for being with us. I just got to ask you, in light of these guilty verdicts, and again, we're still waiting on 2 more trials of the other alleged rapists in the case at Vanderbilt, I'm wondering if it is time to start enlisting more parents of freshmen that come into these universities and sign contracts with the students and the parents to hold them accountable and to inform them of the criminal nature of behavior that at one point was considered boys being boys.
Certainly it's all about education, Ashleigh. I'm pleased to be with you today, and that's part of what this summit is about that we're currently holding in Nashville, Tennessee. And it's about training the trainers so that both families and students initially get training, but also it's an ongoing process and that we need to continue to do, and we need to actually increase our efforts in this area.
Without question. Listen, my 2 boys are 7 and 9, certainly not of the age where I can discuss this case, but I have already begun discussing behavior in groups, boys' behavior, and how they need to treat people, and particularly girls, without getting into those kinds of details. I just don't know that colleges do this to their incoming freshmen, particularly the men. In this case, no one can blame this victim, even if they want to, because she was drugged. She wasn't partying late or being foolish, as some people will try to do to blame a victim of rape. But don't we need to do something with the freshmen before they come into the colleges to warn them? I mean, certainly after Duke University, the Duke lacrosse scandal, the Steubenville cases, there's so much media, and it seems talk is cheap.
No, Ashleigh, I agree with you completely. I mean, one of the things that will be an outcome of this summit is to improve and expand our training of the university collectively. And it was a partnership between both public and private institutions. There's some 450 people attending the summit, trainers who will train other people as well as exchange best practices across both public and private institutions in Tennessee. And I actually think this issue also heralds back beyond just when students arrive at our door. This kind of training and this kind of information at the high school level across our nation needs to be accomplished too.
Well, I think without question, as we know, Steubenville is a high school, and this kind of behavior went on there as well and was broadcast all over the country. Paul Callan, weigh in quickly, if you would, the litigation that these universities could face if these kinds of attacks happen on their campuses. Isn't that motivation enough to take super concrete steps to ensure that every kid coming into college knows you do this kind of thing, you could go to prison for a very long time?
Not only go to prison, but the universities could be put out of business because there'll be such big civil lawsuits that, frankly, their insurance policies won't be able to cover it. And something's changed in the boy culture out there that allows these kids at Vanderbilt to think they can do this to a woman and get away with it.
Mr. DiPietro, do you have any answers to that? Do you have any answers? Has this always been happening and now we're seeing cell phone video of it? Or is there something new with young people? The expansion of social media, the exposure to pornography, that kind of thing. Is there something that's causing these boys to do this kind of thing?
Are you asking me? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, I was asking Mr. DiPietro. Sorry, Mel. Go ahead, Joseph.
So, I'm not sure whether there have been social changes or cultural changes, although I'm suspicious that's a possibility. But I think values in the United States continue to change, and we need to be better about educating people about our expectations. And on our campuses, we want to keep our students safe and in a great learning environment across the University of Tennessee system. So we're being proactive as a result of regulations that came out of the Department of Education last October due to changes in the Clery Act and other policies that now put us in a position, hopefully, to get this group of people. We planned this way in advance of knowing that the Vanderbilt case would come to conclusion yesterday. It was not done it's done by chance that they fall on the same dates.
I understand.
I think the key here is we're being proactive about getting better at this and making it part of our culture on campus with our faculty, staff, and students, and repeated training of students needs to go on. Sexual assault is a crime of violence, and it should not go on in a college campus, and it doesn't provide the learning environment we want at the University of Tennessee.
But you see the reaction of Brandon Vandenberg shaking his head at a guilty verdict, and you wonder if he even understands how foul, how criminal, how despicable his behavior was. If he shakes his head at that, how many other boys out there would be shaking their heads too, thinking they were just having a night of fun? I have to leave it there, folks. Joseph DiPietro, thank you so much for taking the time out of this busy time. I know you're in the two-day conference.
Thank you, Ashleigh.
Mel Robbins, as always, thank you for your commentary, and Paul Callan as well. Such a critical case, and again, 2 more of those trials still to come, so we're going to watch that.